Beautiful. So before I start telling my story, I would just like to apologize for all the names that I butcher. Like, I've researched their pronunciations, but there's no real way for me to know whether those were the correct pronunciations because we all know how credible good old Google Translate is. So, so apologies for that. So from a young age, I've always loved reading, and I've especially loved reading tales of people from the times before. And I think that if I had a magical power, I would definitely pick time travel, not to the future, because I don't want to know what that is, but back in the past, I could see, like what people were like and what culture was like, etc., etc. And so a few weeks ago, when I was scrolling through good old Google, I came across a story about a very powerful woman from the past who I hadn't heard of before, and it just completely blew my mind. And it also completely blew my mind that I didn't know who she was, because I think after I tell this story, you'll be wondering the same thing. So I thought I'd tell you the story tonight of a badass woman called Qing Shi, who was a Chinese female pirate who lived during the dawn of the 19th century, I believe, and she commanded 80,000 ships. I'm just going to let that number sink in, 80,000, right? So let's begin. So at age 26, this lady wed a guy called Chang the First, who was this fearsome pirate who was known as this formidable commander of the Red Flag Fleet. And the story says that Chang sought this lady as his bride due to her representation as a shrewd businesswoman, by which he means that she was a former prostitute who gathered lots of secrets from her clients, and she yielded them as power over all of her clients and the people that she hadn't met yet. So this guy went, she's a smart one, I'm taking her. And he was correct. So the general consensus by all the sources I read and the historians is that Cheng Shi commanded equal control of the pirate fleet, and that this was a condition of her marriage. So she only married this guy if he would have let her or treated her as an equal, so to speak. And so this led to her becoming like the overall head of the entire confederation. And as you may have already guessed, female pirate leaders were a rare thing. So for Qingshi to negotiate equal control with her husband over their pirating, as I like to call it, is no small feat. It is unheard of. No one has ever done that before. But unfortunately, 6 years into their marriage, Chang the First died at the age of 42. Not much is known about how he passed away, which is normally the case with these accounts. Some people claim that he was killed by a tsunami or that he was murdered in Vietnam. We don't actually know what happened, but we do know that he had an adoptive son. And so naturally, his adoptive son was the next one in line to be the captain of the Red Flag Fleet. And fun fact, and also a plot twist, this adoptive son was also his father's lover, which was quite unusual. So I'm going to just leave that there. Naturally, unfortunately, Cheng Shi had no more power because her husband had died. So what do? You marry the son. So within weeks of her husband's death, she'd taken the adoptive son as her lover as well, and they ended up getting married, which again resulted that she could move herself back into power and reobtain the leadership of the Red Flag Fleet. And back in, I believe, 1809, there was this guy called Richard Glasspool, whose name sounds extremely exotic, and he was captured by Qingshi, and he was the one that actually recorded that there were 80,000 pirates under her command. I believe there were about 1,000 large junks, which are a form of ship, and there were also 800 smaller boats, whereas Blackbeard, who we celebrate as the best and most influential pirate, only commanded 4 ships and had only about 300 pirates, and they existed within the same century, which kind of, again, makes you question of why don't we know about her? But anyway, let's not discuss our conservative ideologies in here. So, after the story, after starting her second marriage, she unified her enormous fleet of pirates, and she produced this set of codes which protected the female captives that they obtained on the pirate ship. And this stated that any pirate that raped a female captive would be put to death, and even if the sex between the two of them was consensual, they would be put to death. If the pirate didn't rape a female captive and took her as a wife, that was fine. That was totally okay. But if he was unfaithful to his wife, then he would be killed as well. So yes, feminism. That's good. So she really did care about women's rights back in the day. And so the Red Flag Fleet, under her rule, they went undefeated. And so many officials and navies tried to vanquish her rule, but they did not succeed. It wasn't after 3 years of being a pirate when she finally decided that she wanted to retire, and she accepted amnesty from the Chinese government. And I believe she died at 1844 at the age of 69, which was a pretty ripe old age to die at back in that time. And the legacy, although like I myself didn't know who she was until I came about the story, I actually did some research and found that she inspired a character in the Pirates of the Caribbean. So the powerful Mistress Ching, one of the 9 pirate lords, was actually based off of her. Fun facts all around. but yeah, so that's kind of the end of her story. But it does make you wonder, why don't we know about this woman? You know, she possessed more ships, she had a bigger army than Blackbeard. Yet we regard Blackbeard as the best pirate of them all.